The subject, coastal and ocean engineering, is one of the specializations in the hydraulics and subject. As you know, the name indicates that it deals with the oh, 14 is also present. So all are present. So now all are present. Let us continue. Uh, so it deals with actually the behavior of the coastal waters. This itself is a very specialized and in-depth subject. Now, the subject of coastal engineering is actually dealt in three different parts. One is the dynamics of the ocean dynamics. That means how the waves are generated, how the ocean waves are generated, and when once they are generated, how they get propagated. So, how they reach the shoreline, what changes they will take. So, that is one type of study. Then the next one is its effect, the influence of the waves. So, what is the influence of the waves? The waves will impact on whatever object that is placed in its path. Suppose you have constructed a structure either close to the coast or something deep, like an offshore platform. So, when you construct an offshore platform, it contains certain pillars or columns on which the platform will stand. So, these columns are subjected to wave forces. So, what are the forces acting? What is the force acting on the structures, on these pillars or columns? Similarly, you can have a concrete structure also. So, what are the forces acting? So, that part is a second one, wave forces on that is second part. Then the third part is as a result of this movement of the waves, they will be impinging on the uh, coastline. So it causes movement of the sand or sediment. So as a result, there will be corrosion, erosion, and deposition. So sometimes you will see that the sea has entered into the city limits, or the sea has gone back towards the ocean. At some places, you will see that there is gradually movement of shoreline towards the land. Sometimes, some places you see the water will go back. So this is all due to this disturbances created by the ocean currents and waves. So this is what is called as a coastal process or shoreline changes. So this is the third aspect of the coastal engineering subject. Apart from these three broad areas, we have one more type of study which we normally are interested. Now, if you consider an ocean, a sea, so then what is the purpose of managing the sea waters or coastal waters, or how best we can use the area by port. So there will be certain structures that are to be constructed to make a harbor. A harbor is an area where the water will stay calm. There will not be any wave influence. So that means you have to construct such an area, you have to isolate such an area where the fluctuations of water due to waves are almost minimized. Why they should be minimized? If you want to use that coastal waters for your navigation purpose, so when they enter the area close to the land, so they are not supposed to have or receive any movements, up and down movements. Otherwise, the operations of cargo operations, either loading it to the ship or unloading from the ship, they become very complicated. So therefore, you have to plan the coastal waters in such a way to construct a harbor. So how to provide that, or how to create that calm area? So that is another aspect of the study. Then the third one, the next one, which is related to this, is the hydrographic survey, ocean hydrographic survey, or the finding out the depth of water, ocean water, along a particular stretch in which we propose to navigate a ship. So when we want to move a ship in a particular direction, so what is the depth there available, so that we can plan the size of the ship which can be allowed in that water. See, normally you think that all ships can be designed and constructed in a similar way. No, it is not so. See, uh, since I am associated with the National Ship Design and Research Center of Vizag, where incidentally my daughter also worked there, so they will be designing the ships individually for a particular purpose, for a particular route, and for particular type of cargo and specifications. So the design of the ships will depend upon the speed with which they are planning to move, and then the cargo, the type of cargo that they are going to carry, and then the amount of cargo that they are going to carry, and the movement, that means from which point to which point it is supposed to travel. Normally, if you design a ship to travel from, say for example, Vizag port to Sydney, so that is a fixed route. So in that route, when you are considering for the movement of a cargo, then you will design a ship. Now you can ask me, can that ship be used for shipping the cargo from Vizag instead of Sydney, say for example, Japan coast? No, it is not possible. Always it may not be possible, because lot of things change en route. The bathymetry changes, then of course the middle part is always a deeper part, so there will not be any effect. But entrance part, of course, the starting part is Vizag. For both the cases, there will not be any problem. But the end point, which is Sydney and Tokyo, so the conditions are different. So the ship is designed to meet with the bathymetric, that means the underground, the water depth near the Sydney port, and they may not be exactly same with the Tokyo's port. So therefore, the design and uh, manufacturing or constructing or fabricating the ship will be entirely a complicated one. So therefore, that itself is a separate study. In fact, that entire thing comes under naval architecture. So, and so therefore, these are the different areas in the same coastal engineering subject. So, in fact, in Andhra University, we have coastal engineering as exclusive MTech, which I have designed that, and I have taught almost all the courses, all the subjects in coastal engineering in Andhra University. So, the basic subject which requires is actually the wave dynamics, wave hydrodynamics, and then the coastal processes. So these are
Sir, what is the
yes.
sir? What is the difference between water resource and coastal engineering, sir?
Okay. See, water resources is the branch of sub branch of, I can say, hydraulics or total civil engineering, where you use the available water resources for your various purposes of consumption. That means when you have water resources, the subjects which you deal in water resources are management of water resources. For what purpose? For irrigation, or for power generation, or for agriculture. So, like that, depending upon their use, there are so many issues that come in the way or come in the path to understand. So, all such things related to utilization or consumption or channeling of water from one source to the other source, they encompass the subject of water resources engineering. But whereas here, the coastal engineering, we don't transfer the water, or we don't take the water from the ocean to the land, or vice versa. Of course, the vice versa, I should not use that word, because river water enters the ocean and it pollutes. That is a separate thing. But actually, that is not done intentionally. It is by nature a river enters the sea. So that junction between a river and a sea is called as an estuary. And in fact, estuary hydrodynamics is a separate subject. So the basic difference between coastal engineering and water resources engineering is water resources deals with all related areas which are related or which are governed with respect to the movement of water from one source to the other source, and utilization of water and management of water where it is available. That means in the watershed, or how you use it in an eye cut. Okay, do you understand the difference between water resources and coastal engineering now?
Sir, coastal and harbor in the sense design and
Yeah.
no,
Hmm.
wave actions like
Where more?
like tides and this land bridges, sea bridges. This moreover related to ocean engineering, sir.
Harbors.
Yes, sir.
You mean harbors?
Yes, sir.
Harbor is related to coastal engineering. See, coast means close to the land. So it is the uh, boundary between land and ocean. Ocean means towards water, towards the sea. So that ocean engineering means anything towards seawards of the coastline. But coastal engineering is exactly near the coast, a slight distance towards the sea, and a slight distance towards the land, because the coastline, due to the wave movement, it changes. It changes its alignment. So all that area where the possible changes can occur, that is called as the coastal zone. Coastal zone. So therefore, I will explain when I start the regular class. In fact, see what happened is I was not knowing that this subject is being offered, so I have not prepared the PPT for it yet. 1 minute. Having a common class. In fact, that is the reason why I was telling, if the other students are free, I would have taken this as a combined class. But I think they have gone to their EIA class, isn't it? Okay. So, what the basic difference is that coastal means anything related to the area very close to the shoreline. Ocean means towards the sea. In fact, it is deep ocean also is there. So therefore, we will not be. I mean, because it is a you want to be given a fundamental or basic knowledge about what happens near the coast, how the coast changes, how the coastline causes erosion and sedimentation, and how best we can protect it. Because unless otherwise it is protected, you cannot construct a harbor. So those aspects will be dealt in this particular subject of coastal and ocean engineering. Now, the syllabus I will show you. Actually, two references are given. Are you able to see the the word file?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here, the first unit is the fundamental one. General coastal zone process, general sediment properties, measurement and sampling techniques. So I have just entered here the place where the material is available in the reference for my PPT generation purpose. And then the fundamental principles of movement, that is bed load and suspended load transport. So this form the first unit. That is a very fundamental or basic information. Then the second unit is role of coastal sedimentation process. So longshore drift. Longshore means along the shore. See, when you have the shore, I can draw, I can show here. Suppose you consider this is a line. Say this is all C. And this is land. So this is the coastline. So all movement which takes in this direction, almost parallel to the coast. So this is called as longshore. Whereas if the movement can also be in the perpendicular direction. So this is called as onshore, offshore. So this is onshore, offshore, and this is longshore. So this is a coastline. This is onshore, offshore movement. This is longshore movement. So longshore drift, that means some sediment present here may get shifted here. Now, all of you know, if you are aware about Kakinada port, there is a sand bar. That means there is a lot of sand deposition. So the sand is getting deposited there by getting eroded at some other place. See, after all, there is a balance. Like energy equation, this is also a mass balance, sand mass balance. So somewhere it is getting deposited means somewhere it is getting eroded. So it will be eroded at some place and deposited. So that is called as the drift, movement of sand along the shore. So that is called as the longshore drift. So we will be learning about that. Then beach evaluation models. That means the beach line, shoreline shifts. So how this movement takes place. So those aspects will be also learning. Then the general sediment transport models. So here I told that there are two directions in which the sediment will be moving. One is along the shore and onshore, offshore. So what are the available models to predict that? Equations or procedures available. Then onshore, offshore sediment transport. So this is the drift and this is onshore, offshore sediment transfer. This is along shore and this is onshore, offshore. So therefore, we will be completely exploring the sand movement or sediment movement along the shore and onshore, offshore. Then beach nourishment. Beach nourishment means strengthening the beach to prevent the beach from getting eroded. So for that, we must have an idea about the coast and bed morphology. Morphology means that subject which deals with the study of the properties of your material. So, coast and bed morphology, regime of the coast and sea beach, and sand features. So, these are all the things which will enable us to find out to what extent the beach is stable and to what extent the beach is perhaps the beach requires nourishment. Nourishment means, what is nourishment? Nourishment means increasing the health. So here the health is preventing the beach from getting eroded. See, if the beach gets eroded, what happens? More and more land will be going into the sea. So the sea will be entering into the habitated area. So we will be losing land, and therefore we have to see that the shoreline will not move towards the land. So how best we can prevent it. So that is called as beach nourishment. Features of estuaries, coastal and beach features. Estuaries, I told what estuary is. Estuary is the confluence of a river with a sea. You have near Uppada. Uppada is a confluence where the river joins the sea. I think it is where there near Uppada only it joins, or some other place. I don't remember exactly. Antarvedi. Antarvedi is the place where river Godavari joins with the Bay of Bengal. So that is one point. So it is an estuary, that part, that mouth where the river enters the ocean is called as a mouth. Hooghly. So in case of Vizag, you don't have any river joining near the sea, near the sea coast. So you don't have any estuary there. Whereas if you consider Howrah, there is Hooghly. Hooghly river is joining near Hooghly port. So there will be a estuary, a mouth. So that influences, affects the design of all the coastal and harbor structures, because there will be a lot of movement of water as well as sediment between the ocean and the river. So features of estuaries and coastal and beach features. Then protection. Now earlier beach nourishment means by natural methods, beach nourishment. Whereas here construction of structures. So coastal protection means identification of the problem, restoration of the beach, by constructing what are known as groins, revetments, offshore breakwaters, base and artificial headlands, and beach replenishment. So, if suppose sand is lost, then how to replenish the amount of sand that is lost with the help of some other bringing sand from some other place, dredging it somewhere and putting it. In fact, in Vizag, they are constantly doing that. See, they will dredge the ocean near Dolphin's Nose area, and that sand will be pumped through pipes near Coastal Battery area, just near the Ramakrishna Mission beach area. So it will be continuously done. That is called as beach nourishment, replenishment. So those aspects we will be studying. And finally, design principles of coastal and harbor structures, breakwater types. Actually, this is a spelling mistake. It is not waves. It is wharves. WARPHS, wharves. And then it is jetties. That also is a mistake. JETTIES. So jetties. So these piers, docks, and different types. These are all various types of structures, coastal and harbor structures, which will serve us to carry out the cargo handling operations or making a calm water near the ocean. So, for the purpose of navigation or any other purpose. So, this is the overall subject. Now, here we have Coastal Hydraulics by Muir Wood and Fleming. This is one book. And Coastal Engineering by Richard Sylvester, volumes 1 and 2. They are not available. In fact, we used to have Sylvester in our Andhra University library. So I don't think that is available now. I have to find. But I have Muir Wood, my personal copy is there. There's no problem. I mean, digital copy is there. Then there are other books also which deals with this. Basic Coastal Engineering by Sorensen. And in that, the entire 8th chapter deals with your syllabus. And then there is another book, Coastal Engineering Processes, Theory, Design and Practice by Ryu and others. So the 5th chapter deals with that. And there is another book by Dean and Dalrymple. So these are, I think Dean is still alive. Dalrymple also is alive. They are alive. So these are the people who have done work on this. In fact, I have worked for my thesis on Dean's stream function theory. So in this book, Dean and Dalrymple book, sediment characteristics and other things are given in chapter 2, and then field measurement techniques are given in chapter 6. And about the structures, it is dealt in chapter 12. And again, we have one more book, Handbook Coastal and Ocean Engineering, edited by Young C. Kim. So in that there is beach nourishment, authored by Dean. So that 30th chapter deals with the entire thing. So I have this material, and in addition to this, I have more than 30 different, 30 by, I can say I have a library of 50 books covering all these topics. So, but your syllabus is very, very primitively written, and it is not in depth. In fact, if I should be very clear, in our Andhra University, these units 1, 2, 3 are put together one unit, and then 3, 4, and then some other topics are made as unit 2, and uh, okay, there are 2 units of one course. This design principle of coastal and harbor structures, it itself is a course. It itself is one single subject. I think I have those subject names. I don't remember. Anyhow, that is now out of context now. So this is what we are going to handle in this particular course. I think it's already nearing 4. Will they be joining?